I'm actually a little bit nervous about running again. Good morning everyone. Sunday morning here at Belmont Hills Reserve. Trish has gone off to run some trails and she goes up the hill. For me, I'm still walking. Not sure if you can see that wallaby down there. It's having a good look at me. I haven't run since last Sunday's long run and just felt that little niggle in the Achilles. So that's 7 days of no running. I'm not sure if I've been overcautious because there hasn't been any pain or discomfort in the Achilles all week, and I've been walking, I've been stretching, I've been foam rollering, I've been massaging, I've been exercising with the heel drops and the heel raises, and even out here on the trails. I just walked up a reasonable little hill and there's just nothing there in the Achilles. That's a positive sign. If you watched last week's video when I did have that little niggle in the Achilles, the plan was just to take a few days off and then give it a bit of a test around Thursday or Friday, so that would have been 4 or 5 days off. But I don't know, I just was erring on the side of caution, I guess. I got to Friday, plan was to have a little jog walk, but just something in my head just said no, be a little bit more patient. Park run was back on Saturday. Why not go to park run, have a little walk and jog there and see how it feels. Saturday came and I thought 2 more days, that'll be a full week off. Good opportunity to rest that Achilles and start afresh in week, what will it be? Week 6 of this marathon training block aimed towards the Melbourne Marathon. So that's what the plan has been. I've been out walking the last 4 days just to get the legs moving, get them ready for getting back into some running. But what does it mean now for the marathon in Melbourne on October 10, 7 weeks away today? Losing a week in any marathon training block is never ideal. If the Achilles is good, when I go back and start running tomorrow, Monday, then that's going to be fantastic. Sure, I'm going to have lost a little bit of fitness. Obviously, I'm not going to pick up the training plan where I left off because that would just be silly. So week 6 will be all about just easing back into running, making sure that I don't do too much on that Achilles, because the last thing I want to do is aggravate it again and be out for longer. It's going to be pretty much baby steps for the next week or 10 days. Now I still will have a good base level of aerobic fitness. It's just a matter of getting that back up to the level that I was at before I had this Achilles issue. And it will come back reasonably quickly. A week off is not too bad, but a more pressing thing is that I don't even know if we'll be able to get to Melbourne for the Melbourne Marathon. The COVID situation here in Australia is not good at the moment, guys. Our state neighbours, New South Wales, they're in lockdown and have been in lockdown for a couple of months now. Their number of COVID cases shows no signs of slowing down. Victoria, where the Melbourne Marathon will be held, they're in lockdown again for another 2 weeks, but worryingly their COVID case numbers is also on the rise. Melbourne Marathon is looking touch and go at the moment, I would think. Already the AFL Grand Final, which is one of the big football codes here in Australia, they're already talking about moving the Grand Final away from Melbourne, where it's traditionally held every year, and having it in another state, because they obviously want to have crowds at the Grand Final. And the way Melbourne's going and Victoria's going, that's pretty unlikely, and that's towards the end of September. So I think the date for that was like a week or 2 before the marathon. So if it's not going to go ahead, really puts a bit of a doubt on the Melbourne Marathon. And because there is a doubt on the Melbourne Marathon, does that mean I stop and just forget about the marathon training block? No way. As long as this Achilles is okay, I'm going to keep pushing forward with plans to run the Melbourne Marathon. And I do have a backup plan. I think I mentioned this in a couple of videos ago, and that's the Sunshine Coast Marathon, which was postponed from the other week where I was going to run the half marathon. And it's going to be held on the same day now, October 10. Obviously would love to get to Melbourne, but we'll just have to wait and see. Got to make sure that this Achilles is a-okay, and fingers crossed for the people in Victoria and in New South Wales that they stay safe and the health authorities can get on top of the COVID situation. We're about at the highest peak here in, well, you can hardly call it a peak, the highest hill here in Belmont Hills Reserve. Not sure you're going to be able to see the view. But a stunning morning as we come towards the end of winter, and we live somewhere over there. So we're about 15 minutes away from here. So I'll keep walking. We might even see some more wallabies down through here. I think Trish was going to go for about half an hour. I've been walking now for about 16 minutes. Here comes Trish now. There she goes. Haven't held back on the Achilles on this walk. Up and down the hills. Just trying to do normally like I would do in a trail event or out on a trail run. I would you know, be power walking a little bit up the hills, and the Achilles feels fine. However, the real test will be when I do run, and it's going to be that push off. You can do all the exercises and stretching and walking and massage and feel no discomfort or pain, but it's that pushing off to run, to be able to continue to run, that's going to be the real test. So I'm actually a little bit nervous about running again because of that, but I've got to get back on the horse, as the saying goes. And the way it feels at the moment, I can't put it off. I've just got to give it a try and hope for the best. I can see why I had a fall in this trail. There are a lot of little rocks just sticking up. It's funny how you it's funny how you can come to these trails quite a bit and you're always finding something new. I've never noticed that gully that runs down through that hill. Always exciting new things to see when you're out in the bush. I'm not sounding like a city slicker at all, am I? Sometimes when you're in here, you can get lucky and see a koala, but I haven't seen one for quite a while. I guess it's a little bit hard to look up into the trees to see if you can see them when you're running, and you're more interested in what's down in front of you on the ground, because you don't want to be taking a tumble. Even though there's been no running this week, still been really busy. Monday, went and had my first COVID vaccine jab, had the Pfizer jab, so I go back in a couple of weeks and get the second dose for that. Tuesday we went and saw the Run Film, no it wasn't, the Run Nation Film Festival at the local cinema. That was really good. Really enjoy going and watching that festival each year. It's just a collection of short running films, not so much about elite runners, but more, you know, the weekend warriors, the everyday runners, and there were some really great stories in this year's festival. And if you get the opportunity to go and have a look at that, guys, make sure you check it out. Also, there's been a real focus on the rehabilitation or the recovery of this Achilles as well, just making sure that I do everything right so that I can get back to running ASAP. Hello, what do we got in here? Someone's made a little shelter or something, little teepee. It's just so peaceful in here this morning. We're so lucky to have these little pockets of bush scattered throughout the city. Just hearing all the noises of the bush, the animals, seeing that wallaby that we saw earlier on. It's just nice to get away from the city hustle and bustle for just a little while. Normally when I come in here, I'm up and down the trails, up all the little hills, and normally have to double back a bit on myself to get sort of 10 or 12k, but it's just so peaceful in here. Would have thought Sunday morning might have seen a few more people in here. Seems like we got the whole reserve to ourselves, which is pretty cool. Oh, and as I said that, there's someone coming through the bushes now. I'm going to head back because Trish will be running past me and she'll get back to the car before I do, so I better get a wriggle on. Alright, not a lot to report on the running side of things this week, but a lot of positive vibes coming from the Achilles. It looks like I'll be able to get back to running tomorrow, Monday. If you can't wait until the next video to see how that run went, check me out on Instagram, guys. I will post after tomorrow's run with a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So I'm going to sign off and hope your running is going well. Stay safe and I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Hooroo.